Oh. I thought somebody
You're
was
gonna start the episode, bro?
I thought somebody was gonna steal it. What's up, gamers? It's your boy and girl for this very special episode of we started spooky season. Connor's back.
I'm alive,
He's alive.
Sadly.
Poured one out for the foam boy. Jesus Christ.
bro.
Poured
What the
one
heck?
out. He's back.
Yeah.
We're in
Back
spooky
again.
season
In
officially.
true spooky season fashion, they did a little ritual, some candles, some human sacrifices.
You're back.
Yeah, it's good
And
stuff.
now we're gonna watch some scary movies to torment you for the next 3 weeks.
Yep. James has already informed me of what next week's will be, which we won't mention now, but I believe I said, quote, "Oh, look at that, I'm getting sick again."
Yes. Very convenient. Is
Not exactly-
sickness is always
Yeah.
when we have to watch something scary, or he has to play the scariest part of Alien.
Well, what can I say?
What can you say for yourself?
What can you say for yourself? Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, this movie.
But before we get to spooky season, we decided to do a little bit of a little appetizer, if you will, a little like shrimp
Yeah.
cocktail, fried pickles, fried
Mozzarella
calamari,
sticks.
your favorite. Scooby-Doo.
We're frying Scooby-Doo?
We're frying
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo.
We just took him, you know.
I'm sure there's some like
You have your food
weird,
handler's license for that?
weird late night thoughts subreddit about Scooby-Doo, like being chopped up and eaten. I don't know where I'm going with
Save it for your browsing history.
that.
Something you want to tell us there, Isaac?
We don't need
or-
to bring it here. Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, he's a
What's
guy.
new?
He's a guy.
Touche. Perennial classic.
Yep.
I think a part of all of our childhoods.
I think of most kids' childhood.
I think of every kid that's an American past,
Yeah.
the Second World War.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen Scooby-Doo, you're not American. Just throwing that out there.
Throw it out there. Even if you were
He's
born
American like apple pie and Eminem.
here. Yeah. Like the
Chevrolet.
Loch Ness Monster
Eminem,
in
the
North
rapper.
Dakota.
Yeah. And Elvis Presley. And Dolly World. When I think of America, those are the 5 things I think about.
Yeah. There's a couple other things that I think about, but I don't want to say them for fear of monetization on YouTube. So anyway,
What era of Scooby-Doo did you guys grow up watching? What's your earliest, out of all the iterations, which
like
one?
what age was I?
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
I think my first recollection of watching a Scooby-Doo thing is probably the live action movie.
Really?
Which I assigned that to you this week. I was like, you need to watch the movie.
I can't believe you hadn't seen it.
But you've never seen them?
I was telling Isaac this. I had seen the opening, the first maybe 30 minutes. I knew beat for beat.
Wow.
Everything after that, I did not know. But we'll get to that later.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're still talking about.
early stuff.
Yeah, but
'Cause
then... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I grew up watching like Where Are You, Scooby-Doo? Like
Yeah.
the OOG.
Yeah.
yeah.
They would
The original. Yeah.
rerun that. Not that I was alive back then, but they would show reruns on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
And so that was just what.
Boomerang.
Yeah,
Yep.
Boomerang.
Yeah.
Boomerang. It's all
Yeah.
coming back to.
Yeah.
And what's new Scooby-Doo as well?
Hell
the,
yeah,
the
brother.
revamp.
Yeah,
revamp
That's
the
the
revamp.
best- I think that's the best one.
Yeah. You think?
Anyways, I'm just not gonna acknowledge that.
Because Scooby-Doo has had a lot of iterations.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot of iterations.
And I feel like there's only really 3 that stand out
Mhm.
to people our age. Unless you have something to
Yeah,
argue.
No,
otherwise.
I was just trying to think of like how many exactly there were. I was trying to keep it count.
There's
of
the
it, but
OG.
yeah. There's the OG.
There's What's New Scooby-Doo,
Uh-huh.
and then there's Velma on HBO Max.
There's Mystery
is-
Incorporated.
I'm just
Mhm.
kidding.
There's like 2 generations of live action movies.
There's a lot of movies. There's a lot of animated movies.
animated movies.
Mm-hmm.
There was a pup named Scooby-Doo.
I remember a pup named Scooby-Doo.
That was a show.
That was a show.
It wasn't bad. It was
Wasn't
just a
there
show.
like a weird 3D animated show or like a 2.5D?
Are you thinking about the movie Scoop?
No. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
I
Is that the one where it's like young Shaggy and
Yeah.
young Scooby? Okay.
That was pup. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a movie.
Wasn't there also a spinoff about Scrappy?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
I
We
feel like
really
there's
didn't
more.
do our research.
I feel like there's a lot
Where's
more.
my phone?
I should have looked this up.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
That's what you
Considering
guys watch us for.
Before we started recording, you were like, I didn't do any research. I'm just going to raw dog this.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Well, dude, I mean, listen, I watched a lot of Scooby-Doo.
I watched a lot of Scooby-Doo too. I also know that doesn't mean that I remembered everything about
I remember
Scooby-Doo.
everything.
Who was your favorite villain?
Creeper.
Old Man
The
Jenkins.
Creeper? Old
Classic.
Man Jenkins?
Old Man
Okay.
Jenkins also a classic.
That makes sense.
Creeper's great. I've based my personality off of him.
I think my favorite Scooby-Doo movie is Two Scooby-Doo.
Big fan of Scooby-Doo Tokyo Drift.
They have a samurai movie.
They do, yeah. Good film.
Okay, so I think the era of Scooby-Doo that we grew up in at our age is easily What's New Scooby-Doo.
Yes, I feel like that's
Yeah.
probably encapsulates most people our age is What's New, because that was the longest running.
Yeah.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if you asked a lot of people our age who grew up watching Scooby-Doo, they'd probably also say What's New Scooby-Doo was the best Scooby-Doo.
But I think part of that had to do not just with the fact that the TV show was so consistent, but it had consistent movies.
Yeah.
Also true.
There are so many
Tie-ins.
movies from that era.
Or
It's ridiculous.
Science.
Even looking back at the list, I was like, this is like a list of almost 20 films, and I've seen all of them, and I don't even remember.
Scooby-Doo is to kids what James Bond is to like 20-year-old men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And I think what's great too is you look at all that list of movies and you're like, even the ones I don't remember, bangers.
They're all fire.
They're all like
Yeah.
at least A tier. Like there's not a single bad one of the bunch.
Well, okay. Is there a better one?
I think there's some standout ones.
You think?
There's definitely like 4 or 5 of the Pantheon level
Yeah.
movies, but I think every single movie is
Is a banger.
quality.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think
My mind immediately goes to Zombie Island, the one with the rocker chicks that awakened a lot of things, I think, out of a lot of guys our age.
Yeah.
Did it awaken things out of you? That's probably a yes.
It's a loud silence.
And then Cyber, what was the one you guys were? Cyber Attack?
Chase?
Cyber.
Cyber Chase.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
The point
Yeah, I
that I
remember that
was
one.
gonna make was the fact that I think all of the films from the '90s stand out even further above the What's New Scooby-Doo era ones.
Okay, make your point, sir.
No, he just made that for me.
Oh.
Because when I sat here and I said, what's the best standout one of the What's New Scooby-Doo era, he named 3 from the 90s instead. Like,
They're
those
good.
ones
Yeah.
are the best, in my
Yeah.
opinion,
Yeah.
I
No.
think. You can't go
Um,
wrong. And Zombie Island being the first one is just
Zombie Island
Perfect.
is definitely like peak.
the best.
Yeah.
It's because it takes it the most seriously,
Yeah.
which even when you're a kid and you're like, the zombies are real.
Yeah.
You know? It's terror time tonight.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Oh. It's Terror Time
All right.
Tonight, one of the best pieces of adding just a sequence of music to a movie.
Well, considering you also love anime and video game soundtracks, that's also up your alley.
Trying to make a
By the
fun
way,
kid.
yeah. Speaking of that, where's the Scooby-Doo video game?
There's a million of them.
Okay, but like,
Where's a good one?
yeah,
Oh, you're asking a lot.
not even good. Just give me like the Cars tie-in game level of quality.
That was a good game.
Yeah,
I remember that.
yeah.
I'm
played
sure
the
there are
I
one.
played the shit out of the game on the GameCube.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty. You just haven't played them because they were like bargain bin games.
I've played a lot of crappy games in my life,
Well, yeah, I know.
especially
you
with the
talked about them a
PS2
lot.
when it's like $5 at Walmart, like the $5 bin. I don't know.
So, Scooby Doo, when you're a kid,
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
what draws you to the show the most, you think?
I mean it's a talking dog. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
It's a talking dog, but is it also the fact that it's just been such a staple of children's television for so long?
yeah.
And then it's like you don't really have anything else to watch. It's like it's just Scooby Doo.
Yeah,
You know,
it was
networks know that they can just throw it on no matter what else is
Yeah.
on TV.
because that was one of those things where you flip through like 3 channels, right? Like Disney Channel had their reruns. Nickelodeon was like you turn on it's just gonna be SpongeBob,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and you turn on Cartoon Network and it was just Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that's what you watched. Like you had no other options.
You can turn on Cartoon Network now and they will still show Scooby Doo movies.
Yeah,
I mean, it's because they're still making them, first off.
true. Also because they're still just as good.
Yeah, that was one of those. That seemed to be their flagship show of like, all right, the kids are at school from 10 to
Mhm.
2. Let's
Yeah.
just 15 episodes back to back to back to back to back of just Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
And I remember staying home and sometimes seeing that and being like, well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I had when I was bored, I had a lot of them on VHS, and I'd pop.
I
Yeah,
have
we're
I
that
had
old.
one of the movies
Yeah.
on VHS. I think it was the Rocker Chicks. What's that one called? I keep forgetting.
I'm trying to
Don't
remember
worry,
the
I'll
one
look it
where
up
they were
here.
introduced.
It's called Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
There we go. The one where it's like somebody's possessing them or something like that.
Mhm.
Right? Or there's like vampires on the island.
Man, you did
Well,
no
no,
research.
The vampire one is
Those are
after
separate,
their
aren't they?
introduction. Yeah, that one's in the What's New era, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's the
Yes, Legend of the Vampire. Yes,
yeah
Okay.
yeah Yahoo.
it's called Legend of the Witch's Ghost.
Okay, as long as we got our etymology correct.
Uh-huh.
Good job, guys. Really did your research here.
This is
I
podcast.
don't
You own
need to-
HBO Max.
This is grade A podcasting. Yes, 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 yes. But they weren't actually
Yeah, they were
vampires.
just
They just
goth.
worshipped vampires.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were fans of The Cure.
Yeah.
Mood.
Real.
Real. Yeah.
Anyway, do you ever feel like though, because the show follows such a simple formula, that's lends itself more than just it's a talking dog? I mean, you're a kid. You put yourself in front of a TV.
Yeah, because
You might just mindlessly be watching it, but
I think like as a kid you're brought in because it's like, oh cool, funny talking dog, right? And it's not just that he talks, it's that he's got the silly little accent, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's funny, like as a, but then like, are you saying it's bite sized? All the episodes are really quick.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good running gags that I feel like latch on to kids, like the chase scenes where they do like the, we all know what I'm talking about.
running between the doors.
Running between the doors and,
And
stuff.
then they meet in the doorway. Classic. It gets me every time.
Exactly,
I love it.
yeah. Kids,
It's just classic Abbott and Costello type humor. That
at least back at our,
Amazing.
at our age at that time, like
Yeah.
that was the peak of humor. It still is, but like, like Shaggy and Scooby like dressing up and like evading the ghost that way, and doing like their little
Yeah.
routines and stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's just there's a lot of stuff for children to enjoy.
yeah.
Yeah, Shaggy and Scooby.
I think what also
Carry
helps
the-
is
carry the
that
show.
it's a show that's not dated. It is dated, but it's dated within the era of its production.
Mhm.
So like now you're seeing Velma like walking around with hacking stuff.
Yeah.
Or like they're using phones. They're going to high school.
It's
I
not
guess they're
dated by
kids.
formula.
So
Yeah.
it's always to the times of the kids that they can relate to, which I think is probably number one reason why I think it's aged and has
Well.
continued to be on air and continue to sell is like kids just see themselves in the Mystery
Yeah.
Inc.
Do
I
you
think-
see yourself that way?
I like to think I'm a Fred. I'm
knew
probably
it.
more.
I knew it.
Hold up. Let me finish. I feel like I'm actually more of like a Scrappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scrappy.
Yeah.
No.
You would
no,
throw
it's
yourself under the bus like that?
not.
You're Velma.
Yeah. I wasn't about to deny it. I know you were thinking it.
Not even Daphne. That's disrespectful.
Velma's cool.
Sure. If you're Linda Cardellini, yeah.
All right, we're gonna have that talk later.
Who are you? Yeah. Daphne or Fred? Shaggy? You wear baggy clothes. That makes sense. Well, he wears baggy clothes.
James,
Shaggy wears baggy clothes.
I'm thinking. What do we think James was?
Scooby?
Yeah,
Scooby?
I can see it. Scooby's kind of smart.
Kinda.
He's a talking dog.
That takes a lot, man.
He's a freaking talking dog.
All right, I'll be Scooby
But yeah,
So we just need to find our Daphne and Fred.
and Shaggy.
No,
Oh, you said Shaggy.
Sarah
Oh,
Shaggy.
that's right. You wear baggy clothes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's all you need to be Shaggy. He has
Yeah.
no other defining traits.
Nope.
Well, if you smoke a lot of marijuana, I'm sure that would help too.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. According to James Gunn
Yeah. I mean,
and
man,
everyone else.
Gotta wonder where all that food goes.
Yeah. Well,
I'd crave that physique,
yeah, is Shaggy netty?
But yeah, I mean, it's just I feel like the show has a lot of things that anybody of any age can really latch on to.
Because I'm trying to think like shows that have a different. They don't follow a strict formula, right?
Yeah.
SpongeBob is a classic, but every episode is a different plot.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we've seen rises and falls in quality across the lifetime of that show.
Yeah.
Compared to shows that actually do follow super strict formulas. Scooby-Doo, Phineas and Ferb, for example. Those are the shows that people would say every episode is more or less just a banger,
Yeah,
you know? I mean, you could nitpick at certain points, but
of course.
are kids just dumb? Do they just like do they not know any better? No.
I think that is something psychological though, because I do remember taking a class in school and talking about how the kids from 3 to 5 they always want to watch the same movies over and over because they know what to expect and like
Mhm.
they just get a kick out of it and they like start understanding narrative and
Mhm.
like it's exciting to them at that point. I'm sure I'm paraphrasing to like
No, I mean, it kind of makes sense.
the most generic statements I could possibly make, but I think that's also one of the reasons why is like when a kid watches something young,
Mm-hmm.
it's like they just that becomes a personality in a way.
I feel like Scooby-Doo has also lent itself to the formula of the show is timeless,
Yeah.
but the presentation of each different iteration, with I think a few notable exceptions, has always been able to stay consistent.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the same group of like the original show was so like 60s
Yeah.
and What's New Scooby-Doo was so 2000s
Mhm.
and Mystery Incorporated was so 2010s and Velma is very
Woke.
2020.
Yeah. Velma.
Woke.
Velma's woke trash.
It exists.
That would be one of the less, one of the more
Yeah.
notorious, infamous examples of iterizing that show. But nevertheless, I think that also is what lends itself is. I think the thing with Scooby-Doo is that the people making the show, for the most part, are fans of the show.
Yeah.
Which you'd want anyone to be anyway.
Right.
But like people, like something like Mystery Incorporated, you only get
Mhm.
from people who explicitly want to do something with the story that hasn't
Yeah.
been done before.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you can say the same with Velma. So, you know, there's
Yeah.
you give and take.
There's always the bad.
Yeah.
There's always the,
Yeah. I mean,
what
just
could
because you
go
want
wrong
to do
when
something with
keeping
something
it real
doesn't
goes
mean-
too wrong.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that would compare is something like Power Rangers.
Of course.
Yeah. You would go there.
Well, I mean, it's something that has lasted literal decades.
It has, yes.
Has gone through many numerous,
Follows a formula.
network and changes, follows a
The
formula.
Same group of characters for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah.
Mm.
And everybody
Same formulaic.
everybody has that one season of Power Rangers that they latch onto.
Mm-hmm.
So it's James is shaking his head.
I
like,
never watched Power
Oh,
Rangers.
okay.
Yeah. That's why I
Okay, so
laughed
everybody
when you brought it up.
cool has one season of Power Rangers.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I got you, bro.
My man.
See how I didn't leave him hanging, James? That's what you do.
I wasn't watching.
Anyway.
Now, which do you prefer? TV shows or the movies?
I mean, that first movie is such a banger.
That's a loaded
The live
question.
action movie is so good.
I mean, yeah. Are we talking like all the movies, like animated and live action together? Because then I feel like that wins by
You could
nature. of the
only
live actions
watch
being
one
so-
version of Scooby-Doo. You only ever had access to the TV shows or you only ever had access to the movies?
Oh, it's got to be the movies.
I mean, I feel like I'd have to go with the movie because like
Yeah.
the TV show episode there's some good stuff in there,
Yeah.
but a lot of my memories come from
The movies.
the movies.
Absolutely. I would
Yeah.
100% agree with that too. To the point where even when I was looking at the list of Scooby-Doo films, there were ones that I hadn't seen in decades. And I was like, it can instantly recall this just by
Yeah.
seeing the
Yeah.
name. Apparently, they went to Scotland and saw the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
And I remember all of it,
Mhm.
and I don't remember watching it.
You got Blade Runner 2049. You just
No.
got memories ingrained in you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Man, I'm gonna have to go watch
I
Scooby-Doo.
remember the Legend of the Vampire.
Yeah.
That one I watched the shit out of when I was
Yeah.
a kid.
It reran all the time.
Yeah.
I just owned it on, I think,
Well, that too.
VHS.
But,
That's what it was.
It's like that one was on Cartoon Network constantly.
I remember, I think I also owned Zombie Island on VHS as well.
Mhm.
And I remember being so confused when I would watch it. I would always think, why are they so much older than they are in the TV show? Why did they break up at the beginning? Why they
Yeah.
which happens in like every single, movie now is they always break up at some point. But at the same
Tried to
time,
brought-
yeah, if it works once,
Yeah.
they broke, don't
It's
fix
called
it.
conflict.
Yeah. Now, when the live action film came out, the first one, I remember that.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
I watched it in theaters, I think.
Did you really?
Really?
Nice.
And
Yeah.
that was your first experience with Scooby Doo?
That I can recall. I'm
Okay.
sure my parents sat me down in front of a TV and I watched Scooby Doo, but like having a vivid memory and being like, I like this.
Yeah.
That's the first one I can think of.
The first one I can think of where I had that experience was probably, it would probably have to be the vampire one, Legend Down Under.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think the order that I actually watched them in which was probably the order that they premiered and it came out in.
Probably, yeah.
Because I remember, like, specifically, I was in elementary school back then, dude, when Aloha Scooby-Doo came out. Apparently, that was the only movie anybody ever watched. I swear, I went to like 5 people's houses and birthdays, and they were all watching
Because
Aloha
it
Scooby-Doo.
slaps.
No,
it's a good film.
It's good, you know? I love the, legend of that tiki monster.
Yeah. I don't remember its name, but
I don't remember its name.
Which was the
either.
first one you watched? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I remember like parts of each movie, but I think the live action one was the first one I watched. I just don't remember where.
It's not crazy. It's not
it's not super crazy. It's just, because like my earliest memory that I can remember of Scooby-Doo was I had a VHS tape of some of the like original episodes. So like the first time they run into the Creeper,
Oh,
the first time they
wow.
run into Captain Cutler,
Yeah.
and like that's what I watched. So like, like those villains also all stick out to me of like, wow, cinema.
For me, that's how I feel about Cyber Chase.
Yeah.
I liked Zombie Island, and I liked the Witch's Ghosts and the Alien Invaders.
Mhm.
But Cyber Chase was the one where I was like, I get this now, of older Scooby-Doo material, that is.
Yeah.
For me personally.
I give partial blame to Cyber Chase for my enjoyment of cyberpunk and sci-fi themes.
That's probably where I get it from too.
Yeah.
If you wanted to dig deep enough, I'm sure.
Yeah. The first time they got blasted by a laser, like, we're in the video game. I was like, I want that. Give it to me.
I am Tron.
Inject it right into my veins.
I am Tron.
So you guys like the live action movie?
You didn't like it?
Oh.
All right, now you're just being
divisive.
divisive.
These are the best pods when Connor and James disagree.
This
This is why I put them on the same couch, because they often disagree a lot.
I can feel. He took it. I can feel him biting me.
Did you actually not like it, or are you trolling?
So, I mean, first off,
Oh, okay. I asked James yesterday. He goes, "It's a kids movie," and I
Yeah.
said, "Brother, we literally talk about this with animated movies. When I
Yeah.
say it, it's a problem."
Yeah. Go on.
it's very dated.
Yeah.
And watching it in current year is not the best experience.
So is Fight Club.
If I had watched it when I was a kid, I think
You think there's some nostalgia glasses for us? Is what you're kind
absolutely, yeah,
Sure.
for sure.
I can respect that.
Especially because it's an era of nostalgia that I had nothing to do with when I was a kid. Those bands, like that ship, like
Smash
cameo
Mouth?
in it,
Mhm.
I'm like, and like
Or,
Sugar Ray is in
Sugar
it.
Ray.
Yeah.
Sugar Ray. Yeah.
I'm like, I only know who you are because I just learned your name like in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I didn't know them when I was a kid,
Mhm.
And so like, honestly, I think I didn't even like it that much when I was a kid, and I did watch it back then. I was kind of like, live action Scooby-Doo? It's supposed to be animated.
What is this blasphemy?
And I probably just
you're gonna
dismissed
hate
it.
when Netflix makes their live action
Yeah.
series.
Yeah. I've always been skeptical of live action Scooby-Doo.
Even from the beginning.
Yeah. I'll say this, though. But here's what I'll say about the movie.
I knew it.
I'm muting that.
God damn it.
For all of its, like, janky 2000s, just like hodgepodge of ideas, it's still campy in a way that I can enjoy. Like, the characters are still the mystery gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still liked that element of it. Their interaction. Fred, in my opinion, was the funniest character in the entire
When
movie.
they finally all meet up back together at the airport, he's like, "What are you guys like?"
I mean, he was easily my favorite character in the entire movie.
He's so funny.
There's so many random lines. They're just like pure throwaway garbage. I'm just like, dude.
Dorky chicks like you turn me on too.
I wasn't gonna say that one, but that was exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah.
It's the first one that comes to my
Yeah.
mind. He's so stupid.
And I think part of the reason why I enjoy that campy element is because every other scene from this film is now a meme.
Yes.
And it's been like your experience watching Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
where you're like, oh, I recognize that. I recognize that. Like, you're seeing it all in context.
Keep getting away with it.
And I'm like,
It's actually the most dramatic scene in the whole show.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I can see how that could, on the other side of the couch, I can see how that could taint your
yeah.
vision of the movie.
Yeah. So that was definitely okay. And I have to say this too. An R-rated version would have just been worse.
Oh, agreed.
Oh,
I
100%.
think it is made better by the fact that they are trying to make it adult while still being constrained.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it so much funnier because there's so many random bits where you're like, you shouldn't have gotten away with that.
Like when they cut to the van being hotboxed and then it's inside and he's making the veggie burgers. So dumb. So stupid.
Can I be honest?
No.
I really
No.
think I like Monsters Unleashed better.
I was about to say, because like
haven't
you
seen
said
that
you
one.
only
I didn't
watched-
watch it.
both of you go watch Monsters.
No.
Unleashed. It is better. It is unironically
That one has
better in
Seth
every way.
Green. I might watch it just for Seth
uh,
Green.
That's the only reason I knew who Seth Green was.
You know, I figured
I do like
I
Seth
knew
Green.
Robot Chicken.
What?
Seth Green did Robot Chicken.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
bit.
I like him in
There's-
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
James, you were going to say something
I
negative
didn't,
and derogative?
Yeah, because I didn't really like. I mean, I watched the first movie.
Right.
I didn't really like the taste of the Kool-Aid. I'm not gonna watch the second one.
All right. So how many times have you guys made me watch something?
That's fair.
Well, are we
That's a
gonna
good
do a
point.
Monsters Unleashed pod next?
Yeah, it's called The Next Time We Go to Amy's, I'm going to grill you about every part of that movie. But no, seriously, Isaac.
What's
you
good
should-
about
you should
it?
Go watch it.
I'm just starting to.
Does it improve? How does it improve upon the original?
Better feel of itself.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Better than the first one did.
because the first movie they wrote it to be rated R,
Right.
and then they had to edit everything out of it after they already shot it.
Yeah.
It definitely has a better feel of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second time around than it did the first time.
And it has more nods to the original
Yeah.
shows. So like it's not like it's trying to necessarily just be its own thing. It feels like they took the cool ideas in the first one, improved upon them, added in cool stuff from the shows, and then we're like,
Well,
here's
isn't-
this amazing.
Isn't the plot literally all the monsters get free?
Yes.
Okay.
That's literally the
That sounds
that's
kind of
the plot, yeah.
I feel like that's implied in the name.
And it's just like I think they like all the characters have a little bit more characterization going on for them that
Yeah.
improves like as a continuation.
Yeah.
It's basically the first one, but the monsters are released.
Yeah. It's
I
just-
do really. I do like that the
Roll
guy who
credits.
plays Shaggy took over the voice of Shaggy in the
Yeah.
show.
Mhm.
So much so that when he wasn't casted one time in a movie because of scheduling conflicts, Reddit threw a hissy fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so silly.
I also appreciate that he became a living meme.
Yeah, seriously.
Twice.
Yeah, twice.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Oh my god, good old Matthew Lillard.
Or 3 times actually because of Scream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was so
What a
sweet.
guy.
When I learned that he was in Scream, because I knew
Yeah.
him from Scooby-Doo, right?
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
how.
yeah.
And then like I was, learning about horror and stuff, and I was like, hold up.
It freaked
Well,
me
that's
out.
why they casted him. I think that's why they casted him in one or the other because they saw him in the whichever one came
I think
first.
Scream first. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they casted him in
Scooby Doo.
Scooby-Doo because they were like, yeah, we want this guy who like traumatized people to be
To be
Shaggy.
goofy, yeah. Be a
yeah.
silly little guy.
Yeah.
Silly little guy.
How do we feel about Scrappy being the villain of the first movie? That's when it falls apart for me.
Yeah.
I think I'd agree.
That's
with
when
that.
they
it
all
falls apart?
become
No, I'm
possessed.
just joking.
When they all become possessed.
Just wanna throw hands. But yes, no, I think.
I will say though, when they become repossessed or like they get into their own bodies, that scene is so fucking funny. I'm Fred again.
One of the sequences that I'll never like that young me didn't understand why it was funny, and then coming back to it as an adult was
You're
when Fred gets into Daphne's body. He's like, I can look at myself naked. And I remember young me was like, so
There's only one problem. I'm not Daphne.
oh, it's so good.
Like, dude.
The Scoobert do? Like, how did you not like that bit?
Oh, what?
Or Melvin do?
Melvin do.
Yeah, I got a call from Mr. Do.
Oh,
Melvin? No, Scooby. And like they reference it like 3 times where Melvin Do is this character. It's great. How do you not like that?
anyway, Scrappy Doo as the villain.
It's just awful. But,
I love that.
I mean, I appreciate the allusion to
Scrappy,
Scrappy
being
potentially
hated.
being the villain. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they just had a sequence where he pisses all
Yeah.
over down.
Did you ever watch the deleted scenes
I think so. Yeah, a long time.
where
ago.
it's basically just
Nerds.
what they were doing in between the time they broke up and got back together?
Mhm.
Those are funny.
No,
Yeah.
no extra commentary.
You don't need
no
it. Yeah, it's
explanation
good
of what
stuff.
They're
happened.
funny. That's all you
funny.
need. They're funny.
All right.
What happened in them?
Yeah.
Fred became a movie star, I think.
Yes.
Daphne did Taekwondo. It was in a old school movie. Or
Mhm.
no, she did training and got ambushed by some guys. Velma, I think she went on a.
She works for
No,
NASA.
Fred went on the book tour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right, yeah,
Velma. What did Velma do?
Velma says he wrote a book called Fred on Fred.
Yeah.
Velma works for NASA.
Okay.
And then Shaggy and Scooby just got high.
Yeah. They made
They were
burgers.
blazing and praising,
Yeah.
But they also
The
got high.
the burgers.
But they also got high.
but they also got high because they got high.
You like the character Mary Jane?
Yeah, again, like, how do you not find that as the pinnacle of comedy?
The fact that Isla Fisher is so hilarious.
Yeah.
Rocky, Mary Jane said man in a mask.
I feel like the enjoyment of this film is based purely on your enjoyment of memes.
Is that not the
No,
enjoyment of everything?
I've loved this movie since I was 5.
That's also true, yeah.
Well, yeah, memes that existed when we were 5. I'm just
No.
saying that like there's
The internet, as we
that
know, didn't exist
sense
when
of
we were
comedy.
5.
What, good comedy?
Oh, shut up. I enjoyed it because it was campy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just why, yeah.
That was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you'll like Monsters Unleashed just as well.
It's a talking dog. What more do you need to get out of it?
I'm just saying.
James over here, like, well, it didn't rewrite the Fifth Symphony. So.
I think part of the reason is because people who like on Reddit and who love memes will like unironically venerate this film to the point where it's like you also have to act that same way. You also have to love it ironically. And I'm like, no, I unironically didn't like it, but I love the memes.
No,
That's it.
We bash, but it is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
That
It
being
is
said-
it is valid, but it's unsound.
Yeah. Yeah. That being
being
said,
said.
you are more than your opinion is more than valid. I'm happy to have it because it allows us to have a good discussion. But you're just wrong.
Yeah.
It's the Samuel
Godfather 3,
Jackson.
yeah.
It's the Samuel Jackson in Avengers. He's like, I understand your orders, but seeing as they're stupid ass orders, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna follow them.
I'm elected to ignore it.
But if you think that Monsters Unleashed is better, then I might give it a shot.
So next one, tune in for Monsters Unleashed review.
Yeah.
Maybe that one should be another drunk pod.
Hell yeah, dude.
Should we start getting drunk and doing podcasts?
It did good on Borderlands, man. I don't know.
We make numbers apparently. People like us
You
better
don't have
when
to
we're
give me an
drunk.
excuse to drink more.
Say less.
Mystery Incorporated.
Yeah. The show?
Yes,
Yeah.
the show. We
Yeah.
come out of this era of Scooby-Doo,
Mhm.
of What's New Scooby-Doo, and the live-action film.
Yeah.
Yep.
What happens in between that and Mystery Incorporated, we do not know.
Yeah.
Stuff.
It feels like just a dead period.
Yeah.
Have you seen Mystery Incorporated? Did you ever watch it?
I think I've seen parts of it.
It was on TV at like the tail end of my era
Mm-hmm.
being of age of watching that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was airing along the sides of like Adventure Time and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it when it aired on TV. I just rewatched it in full a long time ago. And I remember being fairly impressed with it. It felt like people who loved Scooby-Doo trying to tell a serious dramatic story with Scooby-Doo over the course of like an entire show, you know, not just in the film. I tried rewatching it earlier this year. Did not hold up as well, in my opinion. Not the seriousness of it. The finale of the show is still a beast of its own.
Fair enough.
But every other episode leading up to that does not lend itself well to rewatching it as best as I thought I could. My memories of that show was, oh yeah, Velma and Shaggy had a romance.
Mhm.
Daphne and Fred had a romance.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that fun sequence between Velma and Shaggy and Scooby.
Mm-hmm. And then Hot Dog Water was also had a romance with Velma as well in the
Is
second
Is that the one
season.
where they started going to school?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
They
I
actually got a good
do
education.
vaguely remember that one.
It's the one where their eyes were animated really weirdly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little line and then the circle.
Yeah.
Because I remember
Okay.
that when it first came out, I remember being not into it because the animation style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being like, you guys nailed this with What's New Scooby-Doo. And you completely
Also, we
botched
just
it.
everything devolved. The theme
Yeah.
song, trash. Animation, trash.
Yeah, I was like, how do you botch this? But then like going back a couple years later and like watching some of the episodes, being like, okay, cool, they had like ideas here. I just was a
Mm-hmm.
Was it
pansy ass little kid.
one of the story arcs was like Velma or Daphne and Fred broke up and she like tried to get back together with him or something like that? and like Velma, they went on a shopping spree with she went on a shopping spree with Velma or something like that. I feel like that's a
I
thing.
mean, that's probably just in one episode. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not.
That's what
like,
I'm saying.
That
It was
didn't
a
happen
whole,
over
it
the
was a
course
whole
of the season.
story arc.
No,
Yeah. No, it was like a season.
No, they gave them all relationships.
Because they
throughout
also
the
made.
course
Is that
of
the one
show.
they made Fred dumb?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
dumb, and he loves traps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was big
yeah.
into traps.
That's the thing
I do remember that.
yeah.
about the show that did not stand up to rewatching it.
Sounds like a real man.
It's like they came up with running jokes, and they just said these are the only words that are going to come out of the
Yeah.
characters' mouths.
Yeah.
And rewatching it, I was like, okay, the only thing like people will joke about Fred loves traps.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that ever comes out of his mouth in every single episode.
Real.
I mean, shit, dude.
People
Who
will
doesn't
talk
love a good
about
trap?
like Velma and Shaggy having a one-sided relationship. It's the only thing that Velma ever talks about in every single episode. And
Yeah.
I'm like, the show ends on such a good note. Why do I have to get to all
Why you have
this
to
other stuff
suffer? Yeah.
Yeah.
to get there? To get to a point where Scooby-Doo can acknowledge that monsters kill people. Like, come on. People die at the end of the show, my guy. You can't deny
I mean,
that.
you know, it's just
Great cameo from a lot of also science fiction and horror writers throughout the show too.
really.
Yeah, Harlan Ellison he plays a recurring character throughout the course of that show. Science fiction legend, love that guy.
Cool.
But anyway, it's definitely an interesting like entry in the Scooby-Doo mythos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'd agree with that because I feel like that was their attempt to, along with like the live action movies, was their attempt to make it a little bit more less immediately geared towards kids and add a little bit of maturity to it.
Less younger kids and more tweens.
Specifically, more or less geared towards kids.
Yeah.
Shut up. You don't like the first live action movie. Shut up. You don't have a good opinion.
On grammar?
Yeah, I know what I said. James, I
Whatever.
will beat you to death. What do not test me?
And I'm the one whose English isn't their first language.
Who said it was mine?
Anyways.
Who said it was mine? What are
Is it
hash
yours?
browns made out of?
Okay.
There we
you
go.
No, it is.
It's 4 for 4.
It-
Oh,
yeah.
it is your first language.
I
Oh,
don't know.
combo breaker.
Good job, guys. Anyway,
All right, do you want to talk about Velma now?
Velma. What do you possibly have to say about Velma?
I mean,
I
we
have
kind of already
nothing
talked
to-
about it.
I have nothing to
Has
say
nothing
about
to say
Velma.
about Velma.
I,
No.
I would figure we weren't going
I
to
just
touch
got-
that.
It just got renewed, didn't it?
Yeah,
Did it?
Yeah.
it's
Guys,
one
we
of those.
lost.
Okay, Scooby Doo has enough of a fan base that people will just watch anything that gets put out,
That's fair.
no matter
Real.
the age group that it is targeted towards.
And I could also, I would hope, fingers crossed, that they take all the ridicule and all the hate and actually make changes to how they are trying to present their story.
Not to defend Velma, but we have to admit that a lot of that was directed towards Mindy Kaling specifically.
Agreed. Which I'm hoping that she is
Mindy Kaling
capable
went
of
woke.
finding which was the people who aren't just racist or sexist or, anti-woke by nature. Just they see anything that is slightly different than the norm.
Anti-woke by nature being Republican.
Yeah. And she is able to take the actual genuine criticisms, which is what the fuck.
Question: Did you guys have you guys actually watched an episode of
Yes.
either? of
I've
the
Yeah.
show?
seen a
Okay.
handful of episodes, and
Okay.
I could not finish it.
Okay.
I refused.
Fair
I
enough.
don't think she'll do that.
Of course
I
not.
don't think
no.
she will, but I'm really hoping. I still have some hope in my heart.
I'm all for artistic integrity. If you have your own vision, go for it. Just don't make it Scooby Doo.
Yeah, just don't touch the things I like.
Yeah. Stop making Scooby Doo woke.
Yeah, God.
Which I love that joke and complaint because they've been hippies since
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
first iteration.
I want to say
It's like the perfect encapsulation of like the anti-woke crowd.
Yeah.
Just
not understanding.
knowing nothing about art.
Let's say it's like I'm pretty sure Shaggy and Scooby both dress in drag in the original.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in every episode.
Many
Yeah,
times.
like multiple times. Yeah.
Many a time.
Um,
It reminds me very much of how like NASCAR fans are very pro police, but like NASCAR and stock car racing specifically are invented because it was bootleggers running
Yeah.
away from the cops.
Yeah.
mhm.
You gotta rewrite history every now and then
yeah.
to enjoy the things that you like.
I reject your reality and
Yeah.
substitute my own.
You can't have that cognitive dissonance. That's too much.
Good times, good times.
Where would you want to see Scooby-Doo go from here?
Well,
Do
they're
you
making
think
the
it can
live
go
action
anything?
show.
They're making the live action show, but
Netflix.
is that the next step?
Honestly, I don't think I have like a direction I would want it to go other than just make something with love and passion that isn't garbage.
But do you think like where do you think that love and passion is found? Is it found in sticking to the formula? Is it found in focusing on the characterization? Or is it found in like the zaniness, the jokes, the humor? Because I feel like Velma tries to emphasize the zaniness, the
Mhm.
jokes and the humor,
Yeah.
in a very R-rated fashion,
Mhm.
nevertheless. Whereas I feel like What's New Scooby-Doo was very much the formula,
Yeah.
and
I
Mystery Incorporated was the characters.
I think it's you obviously need a little bit of all three. But like if we're gonna focus on one, I think it is just the characters are what make it because they help feed the funny. Like I mean think about the cast for a second. You have in the original, right? You have a kind of straight laced so can you stop fucking making fun of my hand motions, please? It's actually super infuriating.
All right, sorry. I'm mirroring.
I know.
But keep going.
Heaven forbid a man talk with his hands.
He's Italian, for Christ's sake. Anti-Italian discrimination.
You have Fred, who's kind of like more of like that straight laced, kind of smart but not dumb guy.
The jock.
Yeah, the jock. I wasn't gonna say that because I feel like that's.
Is he a jock?
I think that's what he's
kinda-
supposed to be.
He's
He's
more
more
kind of
supposed
more
to.
like a
He's
preppy boy.
preppy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say
I
yeah.
feel like
I feel like
Ivy
giving them
League.
those monikers is like
Old money.
yeah,
He's,
reductive. But,
he's Jay Gatsby.
Yeah.
but yeah, you have like Daphne, who's like
Hot.
again, I feel like that's reductive, but like
I mean, they're still stock characters
Yeah, I
at the end
know,
of the day.
Stereotypes
you got
are
the
Yeah.
you got
based in
Velma the
truth.
nerd.
That's the only jokes Daphne makes throughout the live action film is that she's just a damsel in distress.
Except she's not though, James. That's the whole
That's
point
the
of her
whole
character
point.
arc.
Yes.
She literally,
art.
She literally saves herself.
She literally saves herself. It's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, James, it's fucking cinema, dude.
I feel like a good horror movie could come out of that because it kind of fits all like the categories of the
Mhm.
normal like thriller like.
Well, it's
final
probably where they
girl
got it, right?
situation.
I said that's probably where they got the ideas,
I
right?
would,
Yeah.
Well, no, because wasn't it? It came from like the Depression era, wasn't it? Because it started like the 40s.
way after.
What
60s.
was it?
Yeah.
60s.
But they got it like the idea and stuff like that. Like it came from. Like,
Well, obviously, horror has existed
Well, no,
for that
I'm
long.
saying, but like the no, not that. No, but like the concept of them fighting monsters was
Mhm.
because they were fighting like like the man behind the costume. Was, like,
Are the
original-
monsters a allegory for the Great Depression?
You can
That-
look into it that way, but
be kinda
you
cool.
don't even have to look
I
at the
didn't
Great
even think about it that
Depression. I mean, the show came post World War II,
Yeah.
so just make it World War II instead.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
fighting
That's what it is.
communists.
It's also the 60s, so just make it
That makes sense,
communist.
It was
too.
something like that,
Yeah. I mean,
could
you
see
can
that,
do
yeah.
whatever you want with
So
it.
was
You know?
the 80s like they
I
were
mean, if
fighting,
they're hippies, just say it's
they were
bureaucrats.
fighting HIV? The HIV came around in the 80s.
I'm probably sleeping around a lot.
It'd probably be the neocons who allowed the AIDS to
Yeah.
to ripple through America.
I did
Which that would be the
start
argument.
I showed you the concept of like the Scooby being like an eldritch god that just keeps repeating.
That's from.
That's
Velma, no?
from Mysteries Incorporated. That's the plot of Mysteries Incorporated. Is
No,
that
the- it was-
there's a different iteration of the
Yeah.
gang
Yeah.
every generations. Did you even watch the show?
Not all the way. I told you that.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Selective hearing.
I know. It's your
I
selective
don't want to
hearing.
throw out the camera because I feel like they're gonna start fighting. Like, I feel like they're gonna start actually throwing heads.
About to say, I'm like, your
In case
selective
you're-
hearing
in case
turned off
you're
all the
unaware,
good parts
can't
of live
read.
action.
In case you can't read between the screen, I'm very uncomfortable right now.
Sarah's just there for comfort.
That's why you put up the wall.
She's just there to hold your hand while we argue.
Yeah, Scooby Doo.
Scooby Doo.
Anything?
Where are you?
Where is he?
Hanging out with Waldo.
Did you guys see the? Did you ever see the other two post? So not the early 2000s live actions, but there's two more after it.
I like Be Cool Scooby Doo,
Yeah.
the new ones.
There's one that's Daphne and Velma. Trash.
Oh,
But then there's the other one
movies,
before
yeah, yeah.
that.
There
I wanna
was
say I did see
Also
it. Go on.
trash.
there was a live action Scooby Doo movie when they were in high school,
Mhm.
and I remember the plot revolved around their school dance.
Mhm.
Yes.
I remember that as the plot.
Yeah.
I remember watching it and being like, God, another live action Scooby-Doo movie. So that's all that I remember.
There's one where it's like Daphne and Velma are BFFs, or
Mhm.
like they're enemies and they become BFFs. or
That's a
something.
new one though. That's not my generation.
Yeah, it sucks.
That's fair.
Just saying.
So
I like that kids are still watching Scooby-Doo
same.
and that it's still around.
Yeah.
And I also like that people in charge of Scooby-Doo think that they can cater to adults even if they can't do it well. But at the end of the day, I mean, as long as kids still have a frame of reference with the show, as long as the executives at Cartoon Network are still showing people, the classics, Vampire,
Yeah,
Legend of the
just put on
Vampire.
Boomerang. Just
Yeah.
watch a couple episodes.
Put
of
on
the
Where's Your
old
Mummy?
one. Watch a couple episodes of Yogi Bear. Watch the Jetsons.
That movie has the best twist out of every
Wait, which movie?
Where's Your Mummy? It was part of the What's New Scooby-Doo era. They're in Egypt, and Velma
Yes.
is researching like the pyramids or something like that.
Is
Yeah.
it,
Best twist.
isn't it Velma?
Yes.
There's also some
Yeah.
some fantastic monsters. in
Spoiler.
that one.
Spoiler for you kids who haven't seen that one yet.
Spoiler for
Velma was the mummy.
yeah. Velma was behind it all. That was one where I was like, I've always wanted this to happen.
Wow.
They finally did it.
Verbal mean. Martin Scorsese. Absolute cinema.
Yeah. I'm telling you, there is not a bad movie in that list. There's not a single
there
one that's
really
bad.
isn't.
There really isn't. They're all bangers.
Let's run through this
Go
real
through
quick.
the list real quick.
Let's
Yeah.
go through
In
this.
chronological order.
We're gonna rank every single one.
In chronological order?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to start with Scooby-Doo meets Batman.
So
Oh.
only the first one.
No.
SS plus plus
like-
SSS.
Oh, that was
10 is 10.
absolutely,
plus.
yeah.
Yeah. All the crossovers were bangers.
Now we're going to do the direct-to-video ones.
Yeah, that's fair.
Zombie Island,
Yes.
Peak.
Witch's Ghost,
Yes.
Alien Invaders. Did you
Double
guys ever
peak.
see that one?
Yes.
That sounds
Okay.
familiar.
I'm pretty sure I've seen every movie on here at least
I've
once.
seen at least, yeah.
Cyber Chase.
The peak.
I would agree, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Legend of the Vampire.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Monster in Mexico.
Oh.
Also
that's-
peak.
Is
That's
that
the
one that's
Chupacabra.
the
Yeah, the Chupacabra,
Yeah.
yeah.
Loch Ness Monster.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Aloha Scooby-Doo.
Yes. The
Incredible.
Tiki monster.
Where's Your Mummy?
We just
Velma.
talked about that. I'll go with that one.
Pirates Ahoy.
I knew there was a pirate when I was
Yeah.
thinking about that
Yeah.
the whole time. I was like, what's the one with
Wait,
the
so who
pirate?
is it? Blackbeard? Is it Ghost Pirates?
I remember they're on the cruise ship during that one.
Yeah, but I
Mhm.
didn't remember
Okay.
Ghost Pirates.
No.
Yeah, it's Ghost Pirates.
Okay.
Yep.
Chill Out Scooby-Doo.
They're in.
That's
Is
the
it the Yeti?
Himalayas one, the Yeti.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's about the last one that I watched,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Ow, I really have seen all of these. Holy
I was just
shit.
saying, I'm pretty sure I've seen every single one.
I thought I was lying, but I really
No.
have seen all those.
Everything after that are ones that I heard of and like saw but never watched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's a WWE one,
That was good.
Is that the one with?
John Cena.
Yeah.
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 No, it was
That's
good.
what I
It was a banger.
That's what I assumed.
There is
Supernatural.
that's true. Yep, they had the Supernatural
Okay,
episode.
that one I didn't see.
There was
That was-
Camp
it was
Scare, which has probably the best animation for no reason whatsoever.
I don't remember
Yeah,
that
didn't
one.
see it.
remember
Okay.
Yeah.
that one.
We're
That
finally
just
hitting ones I
unlocked the
didn't watch.
memory.
Yeah.
Those ones are 2010s at this point.
Okay.
I was not
I
watching
still was
Scooby-Doo
watching
back
a lot of these.
then. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you
Dude, I love
remember
Scooby-Doo.
Legend of the Phantasaur? Do you remember Music of the Vampire? Mask of the Blue Falcon?
No.
Oh, Blue Falcon sounds really familiar.
Do you remember Stage Fright?
Stage Fright.
Franken-
Was that the one where Stage Fright was that the oh, they were at like a contest or something.
I don't remember
Or am
this.
thinking
I don't.
of
They
it?
head
you lost
to
me.
Chicago, Illinois for a talent show.
Yes.
There you
Yes,
go.
there's like a dog and some shit.
Of course, there's a dog. It's Scooby.
There's another dog.
I know what you mean.
There's two dogs.
Franken Creepy. Moon Monster Madness.
Okay, now
Yeah,
we're
you
definitely-
lost me.
Yeah,
I'm
now
gone.
now I feel like we're
I'm
dropping.
gone.
How about from 2015, Scooby Doo and Kiss?
I remember.
remember
I've seen
that
clips of
one.
it. Yeah.
I remember seeing that one,
Yeah.
like
I remember
the
that.
the
Oh my God.
box art of it.
Mm-hmm. One of these in that era is when Shaggy like unlocks Ultra Instinct for a minute and goes crazy with a car.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
sure we've all
true.
seen that clip.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, Pup Named Scooby Doo is still peak.
Yeah, no, that unironic. I feel like it's one of those ones that like gets sidelined. People don't talk about it
Yeah,
a lot,
'cause
but it
it's
was
trash.
really good.
Okay.
Oh.
ooh.
I think I'm just biased. Is really what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
I'm
At
just
least
gonna
you
have to accept
acknowledge
that,
your
yeah.
biases.
At least you acknowledge your bias.
I have inherent.
Just like
bias
how I
because-
refuse to acknowledge mine.
That's fine. Yeah,
Because I'm objective.
objectively wrong.
Touche.
So anything else? before
No?
James and I fucking fight each other.
Cyber Chase, S tier, in my opinion.
S plus, honestly.
Plus plus.
Plus.
Okay.
Been a while since we had a good Bash James pod. I feel like we've had a Bash Isaac pod. We had a couple Bash Connor pods.
What do you mean you've had a couple Bash Isaac pods? They're all Bash Isaac pods.
Well, don't be making bait so
No,
obvious.
they're not. At the very least, when we bash like Isaac or Connor, it's just for like a one-off things that you guys say. When you guys bash me, it's the entire duration of the podcast for a very specific opinion I have on the film.
Hey, to be fair, I don't remember what episode it was, but
To be
two
fair, it's only because you disagree with us.
but it was 2 episodes ago where the entire podcast was Isaac and I just ribbing on each other and just swapping bait. I don't remember what the fuck.
Oh,
book
adaptations.
Was it the book adaptations? Yeah.
That was a good pod. That was a really good pod. You guys should watch that.
It was, yeah.
Or rewatch it if you've already seen it.
You can find that here on YouTube or on Spotify.
You know what is so funny about that pod is we talked for an hour and a half, and I went to bed like, fuck, we didn't even talk about like
No, I know, yeah.
17 other books. I
There
wanted
was a
to
ton
get
of stuff
to.
we're going to talk about, yeah.
We might just have to re-release a part 2.
Director's
I
cut.
mean, I mean a part 3 we're on.
Well, part 2 Redux
Yeah.
for part 3. It'll be like it's Attack on Titan season
Yeah.
4 part 3.
Yeah.
Part 2 with Dante from Double
Yeah.
Cry.
Lion King 1.5.
Yeah. Director's commentary.
We should do an episode on all the direct to DVD Disney movies.
Let's not.
I've always said we should do a decom episode.
If you want to see that, leave a comment.
I would love to do a decom episode.
That'd be,
There's so many good ones. Lemonade Mouth,
Okay.
High School Musical,
You're done talking.
Good Luck Charlie the movie.
I like how you immediately go, there are so many good ones. And the first one he says, you go, you're done talking.
yeah.
Stop.
Sorry, Peak.
You picked the worst one.
Lemonade Mouth is Peak.
You could have said stuck in the suburbs, but you went with Lemonade
Lemonade
Mouth.
Mouth.
Yeah.
is peak.
No, I'm gonna need you to stop talking, bro.
Even Weep was a good
I'm taking the heat off of James. What the f is wrong
Okay.
with you?
Sky High.
Sky High.
Okay, that's peak.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. Sky High was peak.
I watch that movie at least once every other year.
Yeah.
And I'm still like, the ending just hits me every
Nothing primed us for Marvel more than Sky High.
Thanks for ruining Sky High.
time. I love Sky High so
Sky High,
much.
it's so good.
But hey, that's high school. Hits every time. Every time.
Every time.
He wants to say something.
What do you got?
Follow us on Instagram. Hitplay.pod.
Or not. This podcast might have just dissolved before your very eyes. We say that like every episode, though. We're
Next
still
episode starts. I'm just splattered in red.
going. Yeah. Yeah.
You have the stuffed Otto here.
Yeah.
The little stuffed animal. In
His
my
mic
place.
stand's all bent out of shape.
Make sure to hit the bell. Make sure to hit the subscribe.
And the like. And leave a comment.
And leave a
Leave a
comment.
comment.
Say first.
Let's get to 50 likes.
Let's get to 500 subscribers and 1 million channel views so we can monetize us
Yeah.
and make Connor do more work censoring the podcast for anything that would get
Honestly, it's
demonetized.
really not that hard.
Yeah,
I kind of do it already.
I'll make it difficult. Don't worry.
Okay.
Next pod is just going to be James's audio track gone.
I'm just gonna put
Digital
subtitles in.
zoom on just this half of the couch. I just wasn't there.
Do you have anything you want to say? As your second time on the pod?
Should we bring Sarah back and bring
yeah,
a
let us
fourth
know. We
mic?
should bring Sarah back.
Yeah.
If we should make her buy a mic.
If you even heard a word that she said through Isaac's mic.
I'll try to do my best to go in and boost her.
Yeah.
I tried to move the mic as
I
what she
should come
talked.
back on more and I just talk softer every time.
Then you're just
make it
not gonna
a
be
little
heard.
bit harder for you.
Oh,
I just won't.
please,
I
Yeah,
won't
you're
do
like,
it.
"Ah."
please
like-
don't. I already get enough messages from Connor about our mic etiquette. I don't need more.
Well, never mind.
You know, I talk softly
He
enough.
got the bait. He got the bait. He got it.
Out of everyone on the Zoom mic, I am raised the highest
Yeah.
I know they said 6. I was like, why is he up? Like,
because
It's kind of necessary.
I talk at a whisper and nothing higher.
James is a very soft-spoken man.
Yeah.
He speaks softly. He carries a.
Big,
Big
stick.
stick.
There you go.
Yeah.
You
Who
took
said
American
that? Who
history.
said that?
Who said that?
Name that quote. Who said it?
Roosevelt.
Which one?
Which one?
Eleanor.
Teddy, I think, right?
Yeah, it was Teddy.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
No, what number president was he? No.
All right, let's not.
22. I don't know.
Catch us next time, guys.
See ya.
We're out of here.